Hi everybody, this is the first video in the series of videos that we're going to be talking about, not combinations. I guess I forgot to update my title there. Today we're talking about probability, okay? Probability and odds that something are going to occur. So we're going to move beyond just finding the total number of things that could possibly happen. That's what combinations and permutations allowed us to do. Like how many ways could this actually occur? And we're going to move towards what are the odds, or what are the chances that it's actually going to occur. So that's what probability really describes. It's a number between 0 and 1, and it's going to indicate the likelihood that event's going to occur. So if you look at the graph below, and this is courtesy of our Algebra 2 book, you can see that a probability of 0 means the event has 0% chance of occurring, and a probability of 1 is absolutely 100% certain to occur, and anything between that is really just a scale. Okay, so a 1/2, a probability of p equals 1/2 would mean you got a 50-50 shot of something happening. And this is really expressed primarily in three formats. You might see it as fractions. So you might see something like a 1 out of 4 chance that this could happen. You might see percents. So that would be the same thing, would be like a 25% chance that something happens. Or you might see it as a decimal. And those are three typical ways that you're going to see it. And the decimal format of 25% is 0.25. We've worked a lot with decimals lately, haven't we? So I guess I already filled that in. A 1 in 4 chance that something occurs would be expressed. These three formats are the possibilities, right, that you're going to see and be able to read. So with that in mind, let's talk about how you calculate probability. And most often it's either called probability or it's called theoretical probability. They mean the same. It's like hypothetically, what are the odds? Okay, we haven't actually done this actual thing, but what are the odds? What's the probability that this thing is actually going to occur? And to calculate probability, it's a pretty simple little formula. Remember, we can express it as fractions, and we can convert 1 divided by 4 to 0.25, and then we can multiply that by 100 to get 25%. So we can easily turn a fraction into these other two formats, which means we're working with fractions. And we're going to talk about probability as the number of positive outcomes that the thing actually occurs divided by the total number of possibilities that we're working with to begin with. And so really the idea is all those permutations and combinations we were doing in the last few lessons are to help us find those total number of possibilities, because we got to know what to divide by. So let's talk about an easy example first. And you're probably going to go, man, this is going to be this simple? And you'll see that when we get down to this section of notes, the next video about permutations and combinations, that things get hairy in a hurry, okay? So here we go. Ready? You roll a standard 6-sided die, right? Find the probability of you rolling a 5. And so what we have to do then is we have to say, okay, first of all, I want to attack the bottom of the fraction. Always do the bottom of the fraction first. How many different possibilities do we have with the 6-sided die? Well, that's fairly simple, right? We got 6 possibilities. You could roll a 1 through a 6. It might help you to actually list out, and I know this is kind of silly for this example, it might help you to list out in smaller examples what the possibilities actually are. Okay, so you can roll a 1 through a 6, right? What are the odds that you roll a 5? What are the probability of you rolling a 5? Well, how many of those instances that I've listed off to the side actually have you rolling a 5? One of them, right? So you have a 1 out of 6 chance of 1 out of 6 is the probability that you would roll a 5. Okay, that's the best answer, 1 out of 6. We could, just for kicks, let's go through and put this in our calculator. We could also express that as, and see, the glare from the light is tough, 1 divided by 6, we could express it as 0.16666, or we could express it as 16.6 repeating as a percent, right? So, or I would prefer the fractions, so in our class, let's keep it as fractions as often as we can. But know the other three formats, right? 1 out of 6 is really the best chance. Okay, how about rolling an even number? So once again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Our fraction is going to be something out of 6 chances, right? How many of those chances, of those possibilities, our total possibilities, actually involve rolling an even number? The 2, the 4, and the 6. We had a 3 out of 6 chance. And then one thing I want you to pay attention to as we go through this, always reduce your fractions. 3 out of 6 reduces to a 1/2 chance. Half of the numbers on the die are even. So that makes sense, right? We could express that as 0.5. We could express it as a 50%. So hopefully that makes sense. That was a very, very simple example. Our homework is not necessarily going to be that easy, okay? But once again, the big ideas are this. Probability is the number of positive outcomes, the thing actually happening, divided by the total number of possibilities overall. Always start with finding this number first. Start with finding the total number of possibilities first, and then work backwards to get the top of the fraction. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, now, next video you're going to find it's a little bit more complicated, but I'll work you through the process step by step.